is going now in the second paragraph of Ois Dalet. So this is obviously critical to get a lot of not just moving parts, but the to place the parts and to understand the parts. First, you got to place them, and that's not pashut, and then understand them. So the subject is all leading to a deeper appreciation of the cliffhanger, as Ephraim described it on Shabbos, and that is that the statement Seif Maaseh b'machshava tchila means preceding machshava. Machshava but tchila, before the machshava. That's how he teaches it. Now, what does that possibly mean? So he contrasts this with the nos tchilosim b'seifam b'tchilosam, which we can understand, as profound as that is. It's also somewhat paradoxical that the beginning is wedged in the end is wedged in the beginning. We would think that the closest thing to the beginning is the next step after the beginning. That's logical. What's closest to the first? Second, not the end. But that itself is a paradox that we've illustrated and explaining, and he continues to now in greater depth as he applies it l'mayla. And in so doing, resolves various classic sources that deal with the question, what's the primary motive of creation? On the surface, a contradiction, and it's all placed in context. That's what this next paragraph, or the second paragraph of Ois Dalet does. The beginning of Ois Dalet states, using the model that we used on the human plane, and that is that the first step that leads to, in the end, giving the oni, the poor person, the coin. The first step is oiris rachmim rabim pshutim. That the person is aroused, his compassion within him is aroused. And then there were 7 steps. Now, what's the parallel of Maila? So Ois Dalet, that's conveyed in the statement of h'tchk. In h'tchk, it says, you can look at it, it's the third line of Ois Dalet, by the number 12. When they arose in his will, blessed be he, to create the world. Why? He has the word kedei in brackets. What's the motive? L'heitiv libruav, to bestow good upon his creations. So this is the parallel of the rachmim rabim that manifests at the end in the actually helping the oni. And that creates the rotzen. Next step, paralleling the 7 steps, that we call them. Da'ano emloich, I want to be king. And the various ritzoynes, nishtalshalos, the keser of each olam, I want this, the next, I want the next, all to implement and realize the ultimate kavana, which is laheitiv libruav. The keser akloli is called machshava da'ak. Machshava da'ak, the thought of the Adam Kadman, quite in its translation, we get the imagery of the primal manifestation of the divine. So the first machshava is laheitiv libruav, and then it manifests in Elam Hazeh as we are recipients of God's beneficence. Beneficence. Now, ubeprotius yoisa. So this bemis, for the flow of the Maimer, this whole next section didn't have to be, but it's just deepening our appreciation at the end, and maybe it invites the heart of the Maimer, this next paragraph. Appreciation of Seif Maaseh Machshava Tchila. But this is now first exploring, unpacking this Laheitiv Libruav. So let me give it an overview. First of what the Ois is going to say, and then as we encounter its words, hopefully you won't be lost. So there's 2 other reasons brought in the classic sources, by reasons in quotations, motives, chosen reasons, articulated motives. One from the h'tchk also, and the other from the Zohar. which the Maimer says is really addressing one level. And what is it? So you can see there, look at the bottom of the first, I don't know how yours is set out, but it's the same as mine. Okay, so the bottom of the page, these words we have to know. I mean, these are classic words from classic sources and touted and explained in Tzemach Vov and Ayin Beis. This is really the deepest sugyas of Chassidus, is the purpose of creation. That's where it all begins. So the first statement we quote here is from the Yitzchayim, B'chdei lahaitzi shleimusa yizbarech. In order to express his perfection, self-expression. In brackets, that's the way. In other words, 15 is the Loshen in Yitzchayim. In the brackets is the way Chassidus refers to that quote, she's galu shleimus kechaysav. Okay, there's a famous sikha, by the way, in Chelik Vav, and it's one of the most landmark sikhas. Some would argue the most quintessential landmark sikha, and it's very copious ha'oris, where the Rebbe addresses the Tachtoinim in contrast to all of these reasons, and in fact, in the ha'oris over there, they refer to this Maimer and to this paragraph. Shmois. Not mistaken. Shmois Chelik Vav. It's all the masculine. This is the Rebbe didn't say all of this by the Sikha, but Rabbi Yoel, was putting it in and got the green light for, I guess, most of what he wrote, not everything. That becomes now, again, so much of the tachtan, as we have to, but once the Sikh has to be not his words, but the way we understand it, the way Seichel and Nushi understands it, and contributes to its articulation. It's a landmark Sikh. So again, the way Chassidus refers to this explanation is the brackets, we should know these words. She's galush le'miskachaysav. Oi, or last line in the page, it's the same level. B'chalalas, it's the same level. The prati is not, but b'chalalas, yes. Begin the ishtamoidin lay. That's from the Zohar. Begin means in order, the ishtamoidin lay, he should be known. In brackets, sheyedu shuracham v'chanan. Now, this is not about anybody receiving anything. Certainly there's self-expression. Whether someone appreciates that or not is another matter, irrelevant to self-expression. And even, it's not so clear, but this begin the ishtamoidin lay, which sounds like somehow there's the role of the recipient, but the role of the recipient is just to know him, not to gain anything. So it's still, she's galish le'mis kachaysav. If you like, there's two dargas.
To be misgal to somebody else. No?
But not misgal in the sense of giving you anything.
But they're still recognizing.
If you say he's gal, it's already gilu. Gilu is gilu. Finish. It's already other. That's already she's galish le'mis kachaysav. But what's critical here is that there is no gain. It's not lehetiv libruav. It's all still about him. Now the him is acknowledging that the potential existence of otherness, actually more precisely, is the notion, there's no otherness, just the notion of otherness, and in that notion, another word for potential, but a little less defined, is his self-expression. Now, what the Maimon goes on to say is this. So we have now two reasons. We have Lahetiv Libruov and the other two reasons. Let's summarize them. Self-expression. Self-expression. Like the artist will express himself, whether someone sees the art, buys it, or benefits it, or hangs on somebody's wall or not. A true artist is, what he produces is his self-expression. So Hashem is chosen to express himself. and in his perfection, in his contrasting giluyim, gvul, and bligvul, etc. So it's for our purposes, although we should repeat the words again, so you remember them. She's galish lemis kechayisov and begin the ishtameidele. That's one level. And the hatively bruov, that's clearly we're talking here about someone gaining. That's way down the process of ishtalshalus, where there is deficient creatures that need hashpah. So what does the Maimah say? He says like this. On the one hand, it's not inside the text, just listen up. Lahativli bruov is already fulfilled and realized at the first level where there's some kind of recipient / keli. What level is that? That's the level of akudim. There's akudim, nekudim, and vrudim. Akud means tied, nekudim means spotted, and brudim means belted. No doubt you will remember that akudim is lifnei toihu, where all of the oires are tied in one keli. That means that koyach hagvul and koyach habligvul are seamlessly one. Nekudim is where the koyach habligvul overwhelms the koyach hagvul, creating shattered points. It's oilam atoyu. And oilam havrudim, belted, encircled, that's oilam atzilus. There are 10 separate spheres, not in one keli, but they're harmonious. The middle level is nekudim, oilam atika. This is not the subject, but you get the general idea.
The middle level is oilam atayu. You're saying.
You
said tikkun by mistake.
What?
I said you said tikkun. I thought I heard tikkun.
No, oilam atayu. I didn't say the word tikkun. Tikkun is oilam atzilus. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
So akudim is already the first level where there's kalim, and the kalim are receiving in this beautifully unified manner gilui. So lahativli bruav is already essentially satisfied with olam akudim. Lahativli bruav does not explain, however, the higher levels of revelation. That is justified by the gadlish lemis kechaysav, begin dishtamoidinle, pure self-expression. So far, that's how the Maimah begins, is you map it on the divine geographical map, plot it on the chart. Lahativ libruov is where? Lower akudim. And what explains the gilui of the Ein Sof? Hayden olam akudim, lifnei hatzimtzum. What's that about? That is, no, finish with the sentence. That's the galish le'mekechaysa, begin dishtamoidin self-expression. Now the Rebbe reconciles.
Isn't begin the ishtamoidin?
No,
a lot. No,
we addressed this at the beginning of the shir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I know you said it's together.
It's one level, but it's begin yishtamoidin. No one's gaining anything.
Okay, got
it's
it.
Still about his self-expression. I know that you're wonderful. Doesn't do anything for me. There is no I. It's just the inyan. It's just another way of articulating. She's galish to miskechaysev. But protis, it is a lower level, but it's in one general gather. And this is addressed in Chelik Vav, in the Haaretz. Now, the Rebbe says, in reconciling this, what comes out is this. Be'emes, a third quote. Everything is sourced in the third quote, the number 17. Number 17 throws a wrench into the works here, as it were, because it says, the quote is from Mishnat Chassidim. This is a classic Kabbalah sefer. She'ritzoyne yizborech lahares shleimusay ulehetiv. putting the two together. His will is to express his perfection and to bestow good. What that means is that the purpose of expressing his perfection is to do good. To do good is really the pnimius hakavana, even though it only emerges factually way down the line. Akudim, which is down the line post Giloi Oid Ein Sof, and certainly the ultimate Lehitiv Librov, as he ends the ice with, the one who the really needy ones, that's us, that's way down Ishtalshalis. But that's the pnimius even of the Gal Shleimus Kechosav. Why? Explains. That's the statement of h'tchk. Now comes the Rebbe's beer, putting it all in place. Because for the Eibishter, there's no maila legal shleimus kechosav. That's not a maila. La maila and koyach hasapeil. That's it takes us to two levels. First of all, la maila and koyach hasapeil, which means nothing is gained by actualizing that isn't fully there in potential. That's only a virtue for us, because potential can just remain there and never be realized. And moreover, in potential, it's not there, it's just potential. But for the Eibishter, potential and actual is the same. There's no time, there's no impediment, there's no milas, and there's no chesoinus. There's no milah to be megala. Ein koyach chasapel. The potential lacks for nothing. Doesn't have to be realized to be, if you like, validated. We once learned this, I think. This is Da Shammai, Hillel. So Achlaik is there. That's what it's all about. Koyach and Poel. Moreover, mitzad the etzem, now that's mitzad the darg of koyach, potential of all things. Potential already admits actual, like moed admits oir. A deeper level than koyach is the etzem, beyond the whole notion of revelation. And mitzad the etzem, that's noise hakoyel, a particular revelation of any kind is a chson. Etzem built in mizgal. And as we always say, the whole idea of oid is already chson. It means otherness. It's a compromise and ain't it mulvadai externally. So there's no maili in the galish leimis kechesav. Begin the ishtamoid lay. Not mitzad ein kechasapel, and so you're not deep in mitzad atzmos. So then why did he reveal all of this? Because he had a kavanah lehetiv libruav. That's why there's oid. That's why there's gilui. So the lehetiv libruav, that's the pnimius hakavah. That's why we started here. He said in the beginning of his Daled, when we're starting with the first motive, it's lehetiv libruav. It says that because like a question, beginning of his Daled. That's why the makudim, and it doesn't explain the higher gilui. Now we understand the answer. The higher gilui is achana. The higher gilui is no maila. Why is there revelation? Because in the end he wants to create a tacht. And a tacht that is needy, and there goes to say the end of the maimer, that akudim is not that needy. So if it's the hetiv libruav, it's all the way to a nivra that needs rachom v'chanan and forgiveness and all the things that we need. And that's the kavanah of the galish leimis kechesav. This is all just to really unpack Noas tchilosan b'seifan v'seifan b'tchilosan. The tchilosan is the kavanah pnimis of lehetiv libruav, and the seifan is the actual ilam hasam where we receive God's hashpah, benevolence, etc. Clear? That's what. Now let's learn it inside, and hope that we be machavan to what the Maimon is saying. It's a tefillah shav. It's a prayer in vain. You've already said it. Actually, what I'm saying is I'm open to correction. Let's go. Proteus. He says, yeah. But Proteus says what? After having said that the kavanah pnimius is the not it didn't kavanah pnimius. The starting point is and that creates the rotzen of ano emlech, again the parallel to the 7 steps that we identified in a person giving hashpah to the ani. Yeah. Now, but Proteus Yoser in a noise of alatam leitiv libroiv, so you should know. In addition to the reason of Lehitiv Libro, Matzinu Oitam Abriyas Oilam, as we find another reason, and he uses the singular because the two things are really Bechlalas, one Inyan, not Oitaimim, but Oitam. Shazel Bichdei, what is the other reason? Bichdei Loheitzi Shlei Musa Yizbarich, in order to express his blessed perfection. That is from the h'tschk. In brackets, Chassidus rephrases it rather. She's Galu Shleimus Kechaisav. Or, meaning to say, another way to say that, begin the Ishtamoidile in order that he be known. That's from the Zohar. You can see the real Kut Sichas Chelik Vav in the Ha'aris. Sheyedu Shurachim V'chanan. It should be known that he's Rachim V'chanan, but again, we're emphasizing known, but no one's receiving the Rachim V'chanan. It's not Lahitiv Libruav. It's still self-expression. So what about these reasons? How do they fit in with, we're talking about the motive at the beginning, here's one other stated motive. Where does it fit in our Nos Tchilas from Seifim B'Tchilas? Elo, so first of all, in the question, this explanation now was said, that embraces all of creation, including the highest revelation, mainly the highest revelation. Whereas to bestow goodness, that's realized and justified, that's achieved in not the Gil of the Ein Sof Klolis, Isavas HaKlolis, but specifically when at Hakudim, a lower level where there's already Kalim. So kind of a question, so we're starting at the lower level, but you want to get the first Nos Tchilasam B'Seif. This is not Tchilasam then, Lehitiv Libroiv. Listen, yes it is. And reconciling the two opinions, and will understand also in our case why we're saying that Lehitiv Libroiv is the original and highest and deepest motive, still, in parenthesis now, falling short of Seif Masim Hashavat, even deeper than this. We don't know what that is yet. But our appreciation of what it is or isn't gets deeper and deeper as we explore the union of Nos Tchilasim B'Seifan. Yeah, close brackets, boom, back into the Maimon. Yuvon will be understood. This is this critical quote here. Also from I'm sorry, Mishnas Chassidim. Oh, it puts it together. Hashem's will is to express His perfection and do good. What's the point of the lahari shlei myself? To do good. Lahitiv. So really, lahitiv is the primis hakavana, which is why we cite it as the tchila. That's the inner reason. Why he reveals his extraordinary revelations in himself, and then he should be known, self-expression. How so? That's l'chayra. How? Let's get the question. Can you articulate the question that needs to be explained here? That's the pnimius of begin the Ishtamoidin. Which is clear to see that. Let's use that quote. That's about self-expression. It's purely in self. Hativ Lebrub is already a creation that needs help. That's it. It's already creation. It's not looking at, he's looking at you. You're looking at something else. So how can we say that that's the pnimius really? The pnimius of self-expression is to help the poor. Self-expression is self-expression. The poor is already somebody else, another world. That's the shaila. And what's the answer? I told you about before we learned the mind. What's the answer? In one word. There's no mile in being Megala Shleimus Kechaysa. L'mayel in keichas ha'poel mitzad ha'etzem ha'tchek. The essence, built in Misgala, doesn't need revelation. Perfectly content in his own essential self. So if there is revelation, which is exodus, why? Hated Libruyov. Nisavel hated Libruyov. Okay, let's see it inside. Yeah. He comes down Hasbara. He's the Rebbe's Hasbara. In many ways, again, it's like the heart of the Maimon. Well, till we get to, and what's Seit Masa Machshava Tchila, that's the, and trust me, friends, lo pashut. The more we understand this, we're meant to, the less, okay, we'll deal when we get to it the next days. Hasbara b'zeh, ki mitzad ha'atzmo, sari ha'koyach ein ha'chose poyel, for the Eibishter, potential does not lack anything in being realized. There's nothing gained. Because of the Pardes writes, Vim Kain, lein the taste of Shum Shleimus Chas V'Sholem, al yedei Gilui Kechose Perleisam. God isn't gaining any perfection by self-expression. V'adarab. On the contrary, Hashleimus L'mayli Masha'etzem Leis HaKoil. The true perfection is beyond revelation and bears everything, not any particular revelation, in fact, no revelation. So there's two levels, koyach and koyach hasapoel. And even kolshkein, the etzem built in misgala, noisa hakoel, bears everything and therefore requires nothing. So why revelation? Because at the end of the day, we have to say you are concerned with the other. It's not about your self-expression per se. I'm sorry. Therefore, understanding now, why revelation? Because that's going to be the means by which he will create a nivra and the nivra will receive from him. By us, by the creations, is a big difference. We gain nothing if he doesn't reveal himself. If he reveals himself, this is what to be gained. The nimtza, it comes out. His blessed will. It's not just to marvel, but it's all in the end to bestow good upon the one that receives it, because there's nothing to marvel at as far as he's concerned. There's no mila in his gilui. Says, why is there a gilui? The gilui is that the one who's going to need the gilui will get the gilui. He don't need it. Are we clear? As clear as we can be.
Maybe this is jumping the gun, but then it's there with Achlenim is more for us than for so to speak. Not to say shleimus.
Yidibetachtoinim is only for us, but he chose there should be in us. So nisava that there should be in us and have a need, and he'll give it to us. His nisava is he wants to be needed. He chose that he wants to be needed. Yeah, but that's a choice. That's a choice of atzmos. That's not a shleimus. That's not a shleimus. That's an inexplicable choice. Just like he's inexplicable. In fact, to be needed is a huge chesed, isn't it?
This, the hated, saying it's the emphasis is on that the creation benefits.
Yeah, but there's no creation unless he decided there should be one. So what does this mean? They decided he wants to have a creation that's going to need him, he's going to give. But really what he's saying here is, the Rebbe says in 2 lines in where? The Kavanah cannot be the Ilm Eselyonim, he'll be V'lehem Yiridim El Panav Yisbarach. There's no Mila. So what's this whole thing about? Nis'ave did it b'tachtoin. This is dealt with in that sikh. Look at harder than 19. If you do 19 already. See the look at the sikhs. It was 19. We didn't get to it yet. We were just about to. Okay, we're gonna stop here. Story, and it's okay. We can review and revisit and continue tomorrow. Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach. You agree? You can disagree. You can say, we got a few minutes to go further. Wait, the next line. Yeah, next line. That Hashem's will. Why? His will that he should express these properties of Racham V'Chanun, and for him, that's no Maila. So why is he revealing that? Because there will be Bruyim that need Racham and Chanun. That's the Pnimis HaKavanah. Now we'll address Akudim and Elam Hazeh.
If you say it's a plan, why can't we apply it to the previous Kavanah also? It's true there needs to be Bruya, but you know, it all comes from him anyways, and it's all a choice from him.
You're saying even in the Kavanah Leit B'ruv, just by one thing, to be Meitiv B'ruv, it already happens. So this Shalis Bemes is addressed in the Maimir Rabbi, yeah. The answer is it's all very good, but we don't have the benefit. Mitzidoi Taka is no different, but there is to us. And because there is to us, there is in the end to him. And Be'emes, no, you actually helped me in getting to the final answer of okay, we're going to have to really, toil, but this is what the final answer of Mashavat Chil is going to address. Listen, the Rebbe is taking us by the hand here. With Atzmus. We can understand why, the world, the from world, this is like, go there. God, he wants mitzvahs and haben. That's enough for us. He's taking us into the Eibishter, into the depth of his being. So the Moishe, that's what God wants. It's all part of the Dira B'Tachtonim in the deepest way. It's revealed now before Mashiach comes. But we have to stop and consider. Just remember the tremendous protest that was against Gili Achsidus. Which mind is entertaining this? This mind that entertains, and this body that is learning about talking, saying, Atzmus coming. Yeah, that's the kavan. The crown jewel of the kings. It's a big revolution and a lot of protest along the way. Okay.